Hi, this is Dean, and welcome to my office. Hey, on a day like today, you can see it's kind of a winter day here in December, overcast. Um, Not a lot of sun coming in on my solar panels. So the question is, how do we refrigerate inside my tiny house with days like this? And sometimes there are several days in a row like this. Well, I'm going to take you inside today. I'm going to show you what we have and give you an honest review of what we think about it. We've been using it daily now for over 2 months, and I think you're going to like it. Come along with me. All right, so we're inside now. I can tell you a little bit more about this. We have an ICECO VL60. Now, it's the most energy efficient two-way refrigerator that I could possibly find. Saw the reviews on it, loved it. I'm going to tell you a lot about it today. Hopefully there might be something that you might want to look at as well. All right, so you might probably be asking, why are you in such an inconvenient place? Well, this is where we store our refrigerator. We live in a tiny house. It's 8 feet by 20 feet. Every space is just needs to be used. So underneath our clothes, as you can see right up in here, is where we put our refrigerator. And it's just the most convenient place. Now, I just had surgery about a week ago, and so I'm not supposed to move and lift and do those types of things yet. So I just thought I'd bring you in here and let you see where it's at and tell you a little bit about it. Now, the stats on this, it weighs about 53 pounds empty. Not too bad. Certainly something that I was able to move around, move into this place with no problem back before surgery. But the dimensions on it are 27 inches long, it's 16 inches wide, and 23 inches tall, just so that you can kind of get an idea. It does hold 60-liter capacity on this, and it's a single zone. Now they do make, ICECO does make with the exact same model, a dual layer, a dual zone. So you can have a freezer on one part and a refrigerator on the other. We just chose to either make it just a freezer or just a refrigerator. So it also saves you about $150 or so to get the single layer. But it goes all the way from 0 degrees all the way up to 50 degrees. We have it set at 34 degrees because we're using it only as a refrigerator. And we set it at 34, and it'll go all the way up to about 39 before the compressor will kick back in and bring it back down to 34 again. I'm also going to show you by using the Jackery how much power that's using. Like I said, extremely energy efficient. One of the things that I liked about this is simply that it has, they believe in their compressor. It has a 5-year warranty on their compressor, 1-year warranty on all the rest of the parts. If a latch breaks or whatever, you can go ahead and say, hey, this broke within the first year. But I liked so many elements of this. I don't anticipate ever having to use a warranty throughout the entire period. When I first turned it on, one of the things that I really appreciated about it is it allows you a eco function or a max function. So when I wanted to flip this on and get it cool right away, I just flipped it over to the max part, and it maximizes everything to really cool that thing down. And it did not take long at all to bring it down to 34 degrees. And it was a hot day outside. Now, once it got down to 34 and I started putting my things in there, I switched it over to the eco mode. And with the eco mode, it's, like I said, incredibly energy efficient on it. And I can have several days in a row, like I just showed you outside, and I'm comfortable. In fact, because I have 2 solar generators. I have the Jackery and I have the Kodiak. And so what I do is I'll go ahead and put it on the Jackery for a couple of days, and then we'll bring it down from 100% to about 67%. Then I'll flip it over to the Kodiak, where it'll bring it down about 4 bars or about to 60% capacity. And then I'll go back and forth. And by that time, I've had a chance to get the solar panels out on the other one and charge it right back up. So to me, it's a perfect setup. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. Now, like I said earlier, one of the things I like about it is it has 2 ways that you can go ahead and run this. You can use the AC, which means I could plug it into the AC port of my Jackery, or I could plug it in, because we have solar panels outside our tiny house. I can plug it right into that, into our wall outlets, and it runs perfectly. Or the way that I prefer is, like I said, use my solar generators and use the DC output on that. It just runs a little more efficiently on the DC. So that's how I'm going to try to do it. Like I said, now I've had this for 2 months and have no issues whatsoever with it. I feel like it's just been doing exactly what I've wanted it to accomplish. By the way, it comes with both cables so that I can hook directly to the AC, or with another cable hook it up to the DC. That was one of the things I appreciated. It didn't make you buy a separate one. Another thing that I liked about it, though I have not purchased it yet because I'm just keeping it indoors, is that you can buy a cover for it, an insulating cover for it. So if you were in a van and you had to leave your van in the hot sun over the course of the day or whatever, and you just wanted to get that extra little bit of insulation, you certainly could do that. There's one of the other things, and I want to say it runs around $80, but it's one of the things that I think is another nice feature that they add to. One other thing that I think a lot of people appreciate, especially van lifers, or maybe a truck driver would love something like this, is that it does have the automatic shutoff. So if it's hooked up to a battery, once that battery drains, so if I have it hooked up to my Jackery, once that Jackery gets to a certain voltage, it will shut off automatically so as not to destroy the battery. So, and you can actually, the other thing I like about it is you can put it on 3 different settings. You can keep it on low, medium, or high, depending on how much of a risk you want to take on your battery. All right, now, I know a lot of you are probably asking, what's the price? You'll see this on, for example, Amazon. You can go directly to ICECO.com, and you can look at different prices, and I generally see it between the $525 to $600 range with the single zone. If you want the dual zone, it's going to be, like I said, maybe another $150 more than that. Still, to me, worth it because of the efficiency of what it's putting out. Let me show you just some examples of what we're talking about here so you can see what it is that I like about this. So right now, I have it plugged in. And I want to show you what the reading is. The compressor is not on at this time. I want to show you what the reading is right now, as it's just essentially asleep, waiting for the temperature to come back up to 39 before the compressor kicks on. All right, there you see, it's right now with the compressor not on, it's registering at just 2 watts, okay? And most of the time this compressor is not on, obviously. So it's barely even using any energy whatsoever. When the compressor kicks back on, I will show you that again so you can see that even when it kicks on, it's not that big of a deal. Hey, so just as a quick comparison, I want to show you what a small little fan would draw on the Jackery. So I'm going to use this size fan. It's probably about 8 inches in diameter, and I'm going to plug it in and we'll see what kind of a draw we get off of this. As you can see, it's hovering at about 27 watts. All right, I want to open this up and let you see how much it holds. Now, the compartment over here, it is not as deep as the other side because obviously the compressor has to sit somewhere, and it sits underneath this. One of the things that it has that I really like about this feature is it does have this handy little bucket that you can pull up and out. So if you really needed to get in and get to something in the bottom, or you just want to make it more convenient, you can do that. We generally just like to stack it so I can just reach in, grab it, and then put it back in its place. Now over here on this side, this is the side that's a little deeper. And what we did is we found a little plastic container that fits exactly in that spot. It does not come with the ICECO machine, but what it does is it enables us to have just one more thing to be able to stack up. We've got cheese, salsa, butter, we've got lots of different things in here. I'm going to pull this up to let you see what it stores on the underneath side. All right, that's what it looks like underneath that white container that I had. You can see that's got 3 half-gallons of apple juice and a couple more half-gallons of almond milk. And so clearly you can fit a lot more in there than what a lot of people would think would even be possible. But that's what we have. And it seems to be able to hold everything that we need rather easily. Everything that we need to keep cool, you know, here while living in a tiny house. Another nice feature I like is the simplicity of their display. It's showing that right now it's 36 degrees. I've got it on the Eco. And remember, we talked earlier about the low voltage shutoff. Right now I've got it on the lowest setting because I really don't mind it dropping because I have a lithium battery. The Jackery is a lithium battery, so it can go all the way down to 0 if it needs to. It tells you how many volts are currently in my battery, 13.2, so I've still got plenty of energy, and just gives you an overall impression. Real easy to adjust the temperature up or down. It's a very, very, very simple process. Down below here, this is where the DC is. It also has, as I said, a cord that plugs into the AC side as well. You could actually keep both of them plugged in at the same time, and that's fine. It automatically defaults to the AC. But if there's a power outage and you have that plugged into your Jackery or what other system you wanted to that runs on DC, this would immediately switch over to that. So it's a neat concept. I like it a lot, and just thought I'd show you that as well. Okay, so you can probably hear the compressor kicking on finally, and it's been over 30 minutes, and it finally kicked back on, and I had the top open. Just trying to get it to go from 34 back up to 39 degrees so the compressor would kick on. Anyhow, I wanted to show you real quickly what it's doing on the Jackery. Remember, the fan setting was at 27. This is what it's currently running as the compressor is working. Okay, as you can see, it's right at 32, sometimes drifts down to 31. So imagine just a small fan kicking on every few minutes of every hour. And that's essentially what we have with this high efficiency refrigerator. Highly recommend it. I also like the construction of it in that it has a nice foam, kind of a rigid foam around the outside. It's extremely well insulated. Like I said, it took a long time for the temperature to even come back up. That's all I got for today. Again, highly recommend it. I haven't found any faults with it yet. If I do, I'll be sure to maybe send another video out. But for those of you that are in van life, like I said, if you're a truck driver, you just need something portable. Those of you that are in a tiny house, this might be exactly what you're looking for. All right? We're thinking of you. We'll catch you next time.